word. Girl, I come to your rescue in any kind of weather. So let's take the union, me and you together. Because my heart and soul is not all I got to give. I need someone to share my fortune with. My life is empty, I need more than money. So tell me how to win your heart. I love you, honey. Shoot, girl, so here's your chance, honey. Take it. And I might just let you see I'll be naked. Just tell me what I need. Tell me. I'm just a man who comes around at night. And to leave you, girl, baby, that ain't right. You call me over, give me sexy talk. Shut the things over. You tell me take a walk, girl. If you think I'm playing you too close, I just want to be the one loving you the most, girl. Material things don't come into my room. All I want is a one-man girl. I'm not your man.
All right. We got Sister Tanjareen up in here. What's going on, DST?
Ooh. Hi.
Yeah, thank you for being on time before me.
Yeah, man. How you gonna be late to your own show?
Man, shoot, that traffic. Anyhow, we here up in here.
Did you say traffic?
Well, we're in LA, so actually that's regular to us, huh?
All right. Why is it that? What's going on?
We know about excuses, right? But
Well, I thought you were doing this from your house. So
yeah,
okay. Excuses are totally incompetent.
yeah. I'm over. Actually, I'm at the house. I had to go from work to the here.
Ah, okay, okay. I thought you were kidding, but you did have to drive somewhere. Okay.
Oh yeah,
So I guess since it's a split screen, I should move over to
it's
here.
fine.
Okay, there
I
we go.
got you.
All right.
Yeah, because the other one's supposed to be on the panel. I don't know what's going on, but we gonna keep it moving, right? Are you there? Okay,
I am here.
okay. We're gonna keep it moving here, and Dr. G, she's on a plane. Yeah, but yeah. So I guess we're just gonna have a little conversation about who you are and what you do, because we go back ways, but I think people need to know who you are. Break it down for us, sister.
Well, hi everybody. I am Tangerine, Tangerine Thomas. I'm an actress, a producer, a comedian, a host, and a fundraiser. I am a YouTuber as well, content creator. I'm looking at the chat room. I see some of my people from my YouTube page. What's up, Big Poke Dog? What's up, Just a Char? Tony Smith. Yeah, so I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Ooh. And I'm on a TV show called Family Time on the Bounce channel. We just finished shooting season 8 a few months ago. Season 7 just finished airing. Season 8 will air I think this fall, starring Omar Gooding, Angel Conwell, Clayton Thomas. Clayton also happens to be my husband, so that's convenient. And what else do I do? I don't know. I give back a lot. I do a lot for eradicating homelessness. I speak to a lot of students in various schools around South Central Los Angeles. I donate a lot of my time and items to various charities and money. But yeah, and I'm here to talk about, I guess, Generation X, and I want to know why Lonnie Love got fired since that's in the news. I'm like, what did she do? For real, for real. But anyway, what's up, y'all?
Well, thank you, sis. Thank you, sister. We got Concrete Rose up in here too for the first time.
Yeah, this is my first time joining, and I apologize, but I did not hear what you specifically wanted in the introductions.
Oh, yeah, just tell us what you do and who you are and what you want us to know before we get started.
Okay, well, I was actually going to send you an email, but I figured it was a little late in the game. But because I'm not technically a Gen Xer, and I skimmed through the emails that you sent to Danny that she sent to me, and I realized that your panel is about Gen Xers, but I'm not too far off. So I mean, I figure I should still be able to contribute and it be meaningful.
Concrete Rose, I feel the same
Yes.
way, girl. I'm like, I am not that
I'm a
old.
late
I don't know
millennial,
why
Oh,
she
so we
so
puts
gonna
me
play
on
this
this,
game. Okay, I see
no,
what's going
no,
on.
no. I was
but
born in the
I'll
'80s, so
pretend.
I'm like, well, I mean, I think it's close enough. I figure I can get some input, you know. And I
Okay.
apologize in advance for the echo, but I just want to say, I mean, I guess personally, I'm a corporate training manager. Um, I have a YouTube channel. It's the breakdown from a woman's perspective. My co-host is Danny or Sister George. We talk about a variety of topics, all kinds of stuff. A lot of red pill topics. We do, I'm conscious, so we throw some conscious stuff in there. We talk a lot about maybe issues that are related to the gender war, as well as a variety of other things. We talk about some trending topics. Definitely check us out. I'm sure you'll find something that interests you in our streams. And I guess that's about it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is cool. So we got a little power around here now. Um, so everybody that's here out there, thank you guys for coming through. I'm quite sure more is going to be shooting through in a minute. Um, but we want to find out, like all the different things that's been going on, like for the last 20 years. Based on the time that you have on this earth, based on what you have observed, that you've studied, that you've experienced, things that you want us to know. We want to pick your brain a little bit and ask you some questions. Did you guys get my questions?
I
I
did.
did.
Okay. Okay. So I hope they want.
Art.
Yes, ma'am.
What's all the noise, bro? What's all the noise?
That shouldn't be me.
That's you, Concrete Rose? And now it got quiet.
I was
Okay,
on mute.
perfect.
No,
Keep
I
talking.
was on mute.
Whatever it was, it stopped when I asked the question. Okay, go ahead, Art. I'm just messing with y'all.
Trying to scare people again, man. So intimidating. Okay. Um. So we went through the intro and everything. Now we're going to start getting down to business, so people won't be waiting so long. Now, one of my first questions. Oh, wait a minute. We have another one popping up here. We have Asada Muhammad.
Asaka Muhammad. I love saying that name. Asaka Muhammad.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, sister. We've been expecting you.
Walaikum salam. How's everybody?
All righty. We're just trying to.
Peace, sis.
Can you give us a
Great.
quick intro on what you do and what you want us to know before we get started? Because we're about to dive into the questions.
Okay, you mean as far as employment and things of that nature?
Yeah, things you want us to know. We'll know
Oh,
where
okay.
you're coming from when you answer your questions.
Okay. Well, I'm married, mother of 7. I've been married for just had 29-year anniversary in November.
Congrats.
Amazing.
Thank you. I'm a substitute teacher, but my everyday job, I work for the Internal Revenue Service.
Ooh.
I do like people's old tax returns, like for rich people, and do tax credits and stuff like that. I was in the Nation of Islam for about 30 years. I like cooking. I don't cook out of boxes. Everything I make is from scratch. I make bread, whatever, cake, whatever. I have a college degree. Let me see. My degree is in organizational leadership, but I also have a master's in curriculum studies because I homeschool my children, and in the beginning I was having some issues with the way I conducted my classes, so that helped me out a lot. But and that's me.
Man,
Salute to you, sis.
I thought it was gonna be like something real quick, but you just broke down everything. It's like, oh damn, we got the real. So you've been holding out on this for a while. We didn't know you did all that.
Okay, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
send us something to eat since you
Kinda like
cooking everything from
Voltron.
scratch.
Yeah, all the parts and stuff. But anyhow, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad. Thank you, sisters, for coming through and representing. Um, so we're gonna dive into it. Um, and I'm gonna check in from time to time on how's our time looking like because you guys got places to go and people to see. You understand?
Facts.
Um, so we got the whole introduction to the panel out of the way. Now, how oh my English so good. How was it grow how were growing girls influenced by women and what's the difference today? Let's go with Tangerine first.
Um, I would say growing girls influenced by women, but most of our mothers
Hmm.
taught us to take care of our own, have our own. My mom taught me to never need a man for anything. Um, I was very independent growing up. I found my first job myself, filled out my application, went and got my own social security card. I took care of things myself. And always when I was dating, it was more about a partnership and not about can this person take care of me? Can this person, blow a bag on me or any of that stuff? I don't know that I don't know if that's that different now though, because when I hear the songs that, even the women are singing, spelling out the word independent and saying, they don't need nobody to take care of them, which I don't actually see anything wrong with getting taken care of. I wouldn't mind that. Seems like it'd be kind of nice to relax a little bit more, and I'll stay home and make you something to eat, baby. I'll be like Miss Muhammad and make from scratch and give you 7 kids and chill. She's, but yeah, I don't know what they're being taught. This next generation, I don't know what they're being taught because they are getting rich much faster than we could. Thanks to technology and creation of apps and different things like that. So I'm not sure what the difference is on what those women are teaching them as opposed to what my mom taught me.
Okay. Concrete Rose.
I kind of agree a lot with what. I'm sorry, is your name Tangerine?
Did you say what's my name?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Let me go closer to the camera. Here we go. Tanjareen. I'm
So I had it
Tangerine.
right.
Hi,
I had it right.
Gold
Okay.
star for Concrete Rose.
y'all.
I pretty much agree with what she stated. I think that women or young girls were taught to be independent, to go to school, get your education. I think
Hmm.
that's one thing that was implied, but it wasn't maybe not said, is that basically you can't depend on men. So that's the reason that you need to be able to be independent and be able to take care of yourself because men aren't reliable or dependable. The thing that I see today that young girls today being taught is essentially pretty much the same thing, but maybe in a more overt way. Like basically get the bag by any means necessary. The one difference that I see that is definitely more spoken of, well, more, that's more overt is basically like morality is going out the window. So you get what you need by any means necessary, and there's no, there's who cares about judgment and or what the next person is going to say. So I think that there's basically a notion that do whatever you have to do, and with who cares about religion or faith base or anything else that would stand in the way of you getting to your coin. So that's the major difference I guess I see between um, women that I saw, young girls that I saw growing up, and what I'm seeing today.
Okay.
Facts.
Sister Asada.
And I pretty much heard the question, but I was had some passing traffic. So could you rephrase it again for me, Art, please?
Okay. So growing up, I would say, how were growing girls influenced by women and what was the what were the what were the differences if you see any today?
Well, when I was growing up, there was an emphasis on young ladies having their own things and being strong. But the strong dynamic was different than what it is today. because I know my grandmother was born in the 20s. Well, when I was a little girl growing up, she was a nurse in a hospital. And my grandfather, at that time when black people were in the military, they didn't get the same services or opportunities that the white ones got. So, they could use GI Bills to get houses and things of that nature, but they didn't offer that to the black ones. So my grandfather had to decide what to do. So he got a car, he started a cab company. When he died, he had 20 cabs. So my grandmother, she relied on my grandfather because that's what, that's how they came up. That's what you're supposed to do. But she made her own money to add to his to increase wealth to pass down to everybody else.
Nice.
So she depended on him and she knew she needed him. But at the same time, if something were to happen to him, or say if she hadn't gotten married, she was a nurse, so she could take care of things if she needed to. So now the dynamic is, okay, you don't need him, go ahead and do what you got to do. And I think it's different in each family, because I know one family, this girl, her grandfather and her grandmother, had about 8 kids. The grandmother didn't work. But after the grandfather died, it was found out that he was molesting some of the children.
Mm.
But the grandmother, she didn't have any skills or anything, so she couldn't have left him if she wanted to. Where would she have gone? There really weren't any social programs back then, so she was basically stuck there. So when people say, get what you need to get so you don't have to depend on somebody, I can see that in a situation like that. But yeah, I think the dynamic, it differs from families, and it's just it just depends on what's going on.
Okay.
That was common. She actually brought up a very good point that I hadn't thought about, and that was I know when I think about my great grandmother and some of my elders, like how a lot of men had maybe side families, and maybe the women stuck with them because they didn't really have much choice. So that may be another reason for pushing the importance of education and being independent.
Yeah, those side families were no joke. Even in the movie Ray, when you see that he had another relationship going on outside of his marriage, and then his wife was like, "Oh yeah, I know. I've been sending her money every month." Like
Mm-hmm.
it
Yep.
was just
Or
accepted.
fences.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna get further into this now. And I think Tangerine touched on it, but we probably try to get more deep into it. What were women taught when it came down to men and relationships? As Gen Xers. Tangerine.
Um, yeah, what I was saying, to take care of ourselves, not to need them for anything. They could be there maybe as a helpmate, or you're there to help them. But if they were to leave you or have another family across town, you'd still be okay. You could pay your own bills. That's why a lot of people in my generation went out and bought houses when they didn't have a husband or any kids, and they got 2 and 3 degrees and nice cars, and they're completely single, holding it down for themselves. So I think it comes from how we were raised, to get what you can on your own and not have to need anybody else, because nobody else is going to take care of you the way you take care of yourself.
Wow. Okay. Concrete Rose.
A lot of the same. One thing that I noticed was not I understood that women no longer necessarily, when I think about like my mom's generation, women no longer necessarily had to depend on men. But I think that what I saw was women coming to a point where they felt like they didn't need a man, and a man was he wasn't necessarily a he didn't have to be a staple in the home. I mean, they could do without him. So basically, kind of taught. I saw a lot of the same things that Tangerine pointed out, but with the exception, one notable difference was that the man isn't necessarily needed. I'm sorry, am I echoing?
Just slightly, but
Okay,
continue.
sorry. I have really high ceilings, and if I go to the back of my house, you guys won't be able to hear me. But
Must
so
be nice, Concrete Rose. Ow.
but no, pretty much like I said, the same things. I just think that I saw a real, you know, I saw a lot of women basically pushing the narrative that men aren't necessarily needed. That having a man in the home was not a necessity, so to speak.
Wow. Okay, Sister Asada.
And see, and my upbringing, I was taught the exact opposite. When I was growing up, the things that I learned to do as a little girl, they would be taught to me. It's like, okay, when you get married, you have to do it this way. You need to do this and it was like that my whole childhood. So even when I did get married, my grandmother would look. She said, "Well, make sure you do this and this and this because that's your husband. You got to take care of your husband." That's the way the girls in my family came up, and that's where my grandmother came up, and all her sisters, and even in being a nation, that's what they have separate classes for men and women. And in a nation, that is one of the things you have to do. You have to go to the class every week. You learn how to cook, sew, take care of husbands, children. I mean, and as whereas nowadays, the sisters that I've come across on YouTube and even brothers have said this. They say, well, when sisters are doing certain things that are out of sorts, they don't like to be checked. In the nation, we check each other. If you bring your children out and their hair is not combed, it's an understanding. Respectfully, we say, you know what, sis, were you in a rush because this is not how we're supposed to do this, and we do that respectfully. And when you're in the nation, you just have that understanding. Okay, I know people are checking me not out of not being catty, but they're doing it because we're trying to be better in what we do. So it was a different dynamic for me.
I
Okay.
love it. And look at you, the one married 29 years. So whatever the
Say
classes
that.
worked. And it reminds me that I think my parents' generation used to have like home economics in high school. So they would learn how to cook and sew, and then the men had mechanics and wood shop. So they would learn to build and create. And then slowly those things started being removed from the curriculum so that everything was just about algebra and trigonometry and, you know, science, which is, great, but nobody was taught to take care of home. So I love that the NOI has those classes and they're clearly paying off.
And
Yeah,
ladies,
but even as growing up, weren't you all made to, like, if you were outside too long, weren't you made to come in so you could help cook food and stuff like that?
No,
We
Um,
had,
no.
and I didn't like if I wasn't drawing from my own personal experience. I guess I was talking more communal. But
Yes.
for me, like it wasn't a thing where we were made to. Like I enjoyed it, and for Thanksgiving or we would have my mom would be like, okay, well you cook the greens or you do this or you do that. But I was just talking about communal. I guess I wasn't necessarily just strictly drawing from my own personal upbringing.
okay, so ladies and
And
gentlemen, we have Shirley Hussar. She showed up and she got off her helicopter and
helicopter.
jumped in.
Ooh.
And
Hi, Shirley.
yeah, so basically, Shirley, we're just going to have you just take off from the question that we had everyone answer. And it was mainly, can you hear us, Shirley?
I can. I was talking to a family member. Hello, ladies. How are you doing?
Okay.
hi,
Hi,
Shirley.
Shirley.
Awesome.
You guys are so beautiful. You really are. I love what you're talking about. I mean,
Thank
family
you,
unity is
sis.
so important. I really enjoy this talk that we're having today.
Yes, ma'am. So we're getting into, um, how were women taught when it came down to men in the relationships, as a Gen X.
It's interesting because I heard both sides of the pendulum, and I think that what has happened is government has intervened a lot in the government in the Black community. How they have basically separated a woman and a man. But I go back to old school where I had amazing parents who were loving and were married for almost 35 years. So I kind of relate to a little bit of both.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sister Shirley.
Wait, can she introduce herself?
Go ahead, introduce yourself, Shirley. You know, because Tangerine said so. So go ahead.
No, because I mean, we all talked about who we were, so we know who we were talking
Yeah.
to.
Oh, my name is
And then
Shirley
we just knew we
Superstar.
were on a helicopter. Sorry.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
you landed. I know that I wasn't on a helicopter. He needs to stop. My name is
Yes, you know
Shirley
all the big
Superstar.
people.
I'm the CEO of Urban Game Changers, where we go into urban communities and we hold elected officials accountable as well as ourselves. So we're redesigning our website right now, so it'll be back up real soon. But yeah, I'm an activist in the urban communities. I'm in Los Angeles, and I love
Nice.
my people very much so. I have 3 grown sons, and this is not my husband. He's in the picture. As you, Van Jones and I were working together with the President of the United States. This is a picture that was taken when I was in the White House outside talking about policies. People want to talk about if they like the president or not. I am a Republican. I'm a conservative Black Republican, and I believe that we should talk about policies and legislation to better the culture of our people. Van has been working on the prison side. I'm working on the reparation and the Black agenda side on the within the community, so that we have something to present in the near future. So
Excellent.
that's where I'm
Awesome.
at. We need legislation. We need to put aside our political controls of our life. We've had all these parties tell us how to live our lives. We as Black people know how to live that. Black men are wonderful. They're beautiful. They're intelligent. They have integrity. What
I
has
second
happened is
that.
that we live in a society where it has intruded upon our family, where you don't see Black men being able to be in the community because he's incarcerated, he's being tracked, he's being targeted. In the meantime, you have these Black women who are alphas like myself, but some of those alphas choose to become lesbians or not be open to working with a man. And I'm old school. I like to find strong Black men who want to work with a strong Black woman. Um, and be able to deal from an intellectual business side as well as political side.
Man, so you led to my next question. Then I'm gonna choose this one.
Dope. Dope.
This pretty much. Let me see. I don't know how you make these faces when you look up in the air before you answer the question, but what would be a good Black man to a Gen X woman? How would you be able to break that down? Let's go with Tangerine.
Um, are we Concrete Rose? Are you married as well?
I'm engaged, actually.
Ah, congratulations. Because
Thank
I
you.
am noticing that all the women on the panel are married. I've been married 5.5 years to a Black man, and very excited to be a part of Black Love. I believe the things that I was looking for were someone who could make me laugh, someone who could be a partner, help provide, who has ended up now being most of the provider. But at first, I just wanted us to be able to do things together as a team. But now I got even more than I asked for because God is great. Um, Someone that I could grow with. I think Black women are looking for and need in our generation someone that, because we change as we get older, we change, and we want to make sure the person that we've partnered with till death do us part can also be a part of that change. And when they change, we can also be a part of that change. Hopefully, the change is for the better, but whatever direction it goes in, hopefully we can complement each other. Not being an exact mirror of one another, but at least helping one another. Iron sharpens iron, and where he's weak I'm strong, and all that good stuff. So I mean, I love the fact that we all have somebody on this panel. When none of us are the angry Black woman who can't find a good man that you hear so much about, and it's supposedly an excuse for why all these brothers are going to other races. Now I don't even know what y'all have. I know one of you has a brother. I seen Mr. Van Jones, but yeah, I think that we're proving that we're not the stereotype, which is great. And we
Okay.
found some
No,
love.
I must be the oddball woman here. I am not married anymore. I was married for almost 30 years and not with Van Jones.
That hey, so you found your love too. I mean, 30 years is a long time, girl.
Yeah, but we're divorced now, so I feel free. Um,
Congrats on that too.
That's all
it
right
wasn't, it
too.
wasn't 30 years. It was almost like 25. I got married when I was like almost just 20. And I had my kids really, really, really young. So, and it's interesting because today's generation, you have women having babies at 40s and 50s, and that could be a whole nother show because that's a lot. I'm grateful I had my children when I was very, very young. Am I looking for anyone? No, not at this time. I'm pretty happy where I'm at. I've been really building my business. I started a new company called caltexashomes.com. California is down to 6% Black people. There are no Blacks in California. We have mass incarceration targeting all over the place throughout the state. We have the emasculated Black man. There's a lot of Black men who are emasculated here, who are being targeted by the LGBT, or call them the ABCDEFG people. They really target a lot of the young Black men, and it's a really sad situation because out of all the cultures, we are the most targeted.
So,
And
Shirley, since we got you on the platform, could you describe um, a good black man as a Gen Xer?
oh my God, a good Black man for Gen X.
Yeah.
I think for one thing, that man has to know who he is. What does he want out of life? And what he wants with that partner. I kind of differ with some people when your partner's doing X and you're doing Y. I think that you need to have two X's and two Y's, meaning that they should work in the same genre if they're entrepreneurs. If your wife is an entrepreneur, eventually you're gonna have to leave your job if her company becomes a Fortune 500. You don't want your wife doing a Fortune 500 and you're not part of that growth process. And that's vice versa. So if you've got a husband who has a vision of a Fortune 500, you have to be conscious of his vision because even though he might be working his way up that ladder, you need to be part of that process of the ladder development. So that's one thing as far as economic. As far as spiritual, I'm a Christian. I believe that Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior, my Messiah. I believe that man should be a person that prays. I think a woman should be with a praying man. And my third thing would probably also be having the spirit of discernment. Some people don't discern good and
Well,
evil and crazy motherfuckers. Excuse me for cursing. There's some strange folks out there. There's some questionable folks that don't have the right mind. And it's not me to tell you how your mind should go, but I should be able to look at my partner and go, what you think? Okay, I thought I was right. And that's how your answer should be to each other. You don't have to go through a whole long dissertation. So, and that's what a good relationship has in family and in life.
Okay. So we're gonna send your recording to the dating service, and then make sure that they get it right the next time.
You funny, but go ahead, bro.
but being equally yoked is a good point that you made, sis. No,
Yeah,
wherever you are spiritually, you want to grow spiritually, and being able to meditate, pray, whatever it is you do to get to find your higher self and your connection with Source. If you can do that with your significant other, it makes relationship that much stronger, that much better, and that much that you're that much more able to get through any challenges.
I totally agree. We use the word equal yoke and we think from maybe a spiritual point of view, but that's on all platforms. If
Okay.
you have an economic level you want to achieve to, and that man doesn't want to achieve to that man is unequally yoked. If you want to keep your
Amen.
certain fitness way, and they say I don't want to work out, I just want to lay around the house, but he's a nice man, a good man, that man's unequally yoked. So when it talks about unequally yoked, I love how she said that. That is so broad on every aspect. That should be part of your foundation right there.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You got some wisdom here. Okay.
Absolutely.
Concrete Bros. Give us a description.
I would have to say for Gen X or Black women, it's important to have someone who is a leader, someone who has a warrior spirit, who's not afraid to fight, someone who's spiritual, someone who's hardworking, someone who is a provider, of course, someone who is intelligent, someone who knows his worth and is confident on all fronts, and that's a pretty good starting point for the foundation.
Okay. And then we got Sister Muhammad. Sister Sada.
Say that again, Art.
Excuse me. Can you hear us? Sister Asada. Are you here?
She said, say that again, Art.
Oh, say that again. Okay. Um, what would be, as a Gen Xer woman, what would be the ideal, or what would be considered a good black man? I think she dropped off. Wow.
She might have been having some technical difficulties because I didn't hear her respond after you said, after you asked if she could hear you.
Yeah, she dropped off, but
Hmm.
she'll be back. It'll come to about. Oh, here we go. Da da da. Bam. Yes, sister. That's my ace right there.
Welcome back.
Okay, Sister
Yeah, I
Asada, did
was
you hear the
listening to
question?
everybody, and everybody started borging so that I lost my connection. So you
Okay.
said, according to Gen Xers, what's the what does a good man look like? I think that's
Well,
what you
yeah,
said.
a good black man. What is a good black man to a Gen X woman?
Um, from I would think first and foremost it would be a man with some integrity and honesty. Because as long as I can remember, guys would always say, you got game if you can do this, or you ain't got game. I'm like, why does it have to be game? Exactly what is game? Why can't everybody just be themselves and we select each other based off of that? And just somebody who's not into playing a lot of games, because a lot of things happen as a result of that. Lies are told and incorrect things are done. So basically somebody who's upwardly mobile financially and morally, and also has some integrity and honesty.
Okay. All right. Now, let's see how you guys would cringe if I bring this word up. Since y'all describe a good black man, we're going to assume that you got one. Wow. What's that? Godzilla? Oh, that's you.
Yeah, y'all can see me. I'm not moving.
Wow.
I don't know
Sister
what that
Asada,
means.
that's your, I think that's your phone or something. It's making a creaky noise. Are you talking?
Might be the first. No.
Oh, okay. It's like, it's making a noise.
I wonder what that's.
Okay. But I'm going to throw this
Still
word out
better. You
here.
still.
Let me get a close up. Let me see. The word is submission. Submission. Um, how does submission looks like to a Gen X woman, and is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I guess it's my turn because I'm on camera. I don't have a
Hmm.
problem with submission. Like I said, I love being taken care of. I was raised to take care of myself, but it also is nice that someone can take care of me. So if they need me, there needs to be somebody to lead. And sometimes the leadership switches. There's certain things that I'm looked for in the house to take care of, and those are the things that I'm great at, and those are the things that I know are my responsibility. And then there are things that I know that my man is looked to lead in, and I have no problem submitting to that. And if there's something that we both can tackle, and he makes a decision, I have no problem saying, you know what, then that's what we're going to do. I have no problem with submission. I don't think that I know there are a lot of women who can't. And like I said, there's this vision of the angry black woman who ain't gonna take no mess from nobody, and who's bitter, who can't find a man, da da da. Um, but I don't know that Generation X. Well, let me think about that. I'm speaking personally. I don't have a problem with submission, but this Generation X have a problem with submission. That's a good question. I don't know that I can answer that for the whole generation. Because, like I said, there are some that were taught to not need anybody who were probably so strong and independent that they don't want to submit. But then there's a whole other side who were probably like, yes, just let me let him be the head of the house and let me follow his lead. So I can't answer for that whole generation on this one.
Okay. Concrete Rose, you're up.
Yeah, personally, I don't. I enjoy submitting to a worthy mate. However, I do think that Gen X women cringe when they hear the word. I think that they equate submission to not having a voice, to not having free will, to acquiescing to every whim
Ooh, good
of
word.
your mate. And I think that they feel, I don't think that they think about how you would need to discern what a good mate is prior to getting to that point where you would submit to someone. So I don't think that the word is looked I don't think that the word is looked upon as favorable by Gen X Black women, and I think they cringe when they hear it.
Yeah, because we're used. A lot of us guys, we're used to hearing the reaction. Submission. What do you mean? Um. So, Sister Shirley.
Yes, sir.
So the word submission. Could you break that down as a Gen X sister, and if it's is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh my God, submission. I think submission is a two-way street.
Okay.
I
Yes,
do.
sir.
Especially in these times where we all, I think almost a three-way street, we need to submit as a culture of people to each other, to save each other. And the Black man and the Black woman needs to submit to each other for protection and overall correction within the community so that people see others as an example.
Okay. And Sister Sada. Oh, let me see. Sister Asada. There you go.
Yeah.
Submission.
Okay.
How would you be able to break
How would
that
you be able to break that
down?
down? I think
I'm
the way
echoing.
the way society is right now, I think sisters have a we look at submission in a an ill-fitted way, and I think a lot of us think of it as being in servitude, and actually, it's submission. That's not really what it is. Now, granted, you are to a degree in service to your spouse, and but also being married, my husband to a degree is in service to me as well. I know there are certain things I'm looked to do as the wife or the mother in the family, and there's certain things that falls on his shoulders. So, like kind of like what Sister Shirley was saying, it's like a two-way street. I know when the people in my house are hungry, when somebody's sick, that falls on me because like I said, I come from old folks. If it's like before my husband doesn't like over the counter medicine. So if something's going on, he's like, it's to go fix so and so or go do these herbs, do this. And that falls on me and I don't mind it. I enjoy it. But on the same token, whenever I have car issues or something's wrong or something's going on with the children and I call my husband, when I look up, he's right there. Every time I call him, he comes. I don't care what's going on this day. He could be at work. If I have a car issue and I call him, he's gonna leave work and come and see what's wrong with me. So yeah, the submission thing is we take care of each other. So in that sense, you have to see it being a two-way street. But submission is not necessarily being in servitude to another person.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
I
I'm
saw that
echoing right
noise.
there. Yeah, that's her. Asada, you have a serious echo and screeching noise. I got you temporarily on mute, but yeah, that's what's going on. Let's test it one more time.
Test it one more time.
Yeah, you're still echoing.
Yeah, you still echoing. Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna switch. I'm gonna switch.
Okay.
You've got two channels open, problem.
Hmm.
Can I address a
See if I
question
can
from the
address
chat
a
room
question from the chat room while y'all figure all that out.
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
Because I'm following along on my phone with everybody who's speaking. Big Poke Dog says submission equals slavery in short. I said, oh, that is deep. Legitimate leg time. I don't know how to say it. Processor says Tangerine has a selfish definition of a good black man. It's all about her and how he should make her feel and do for her. So I don't know if I didn't express myself correctly, but what I said was I was raised to take care of myself and be independent, have my own education, make my own money. And even when I got into the relationship that I'm in now, I was the provider. I was doing for both of us. And then we were able to go half on everything. And now recently, I've been being taken care of and I'm enjoying it. So I'm not sure how you got that I if it's all about me and my definition of a good black man, but I was saying we could be partners and we could evolve together and grow together in whatever direction one of us went. Hopefully the other one could be supportive. So I don't know if none of that came off in your speakers, but that's what my intention was. Does that make sense to you, Mr. or Mrs. Processor? Okay, carry on.
Okay. I hope you got. I hope you got enough information on that one.
I commend the sister because she's correct. Submission is not slavery for me. I think everybody has a different terminology. I think what the problem with the Black community is they've always think of that word as a negative. Submission, when you submit to power, when you submit to greatness, when you submit to wanting to be different, that is not a negative. And so to me, I look at it as a positive. I think Black men and women need to submit personally to each other evenly. You know, when a Black man says, well, I don't want to submit to a woman, then you say you're a slave. Well, what kind of brother are you? You must be one of them loose brothers. You like to go around town, have you a couple friends on the side. We're in an economic demise right now. We as a culture of people can't even help each other. If Black women and men work together, then we could help other couples and we could grow this culture of people. But we're not cultivating each other. We're too busy thinking we all want to be masters when nobody wants to be servants. You wear both hats when you're a woman. We wear a lot of hats, but we wear both hats. We serve and we mentor and we're queens. And we take those hats off. We should be doing that gracefully at any time. And if that comes into a point of submission and servitude, then I'm all for it.
Okay. Now, another question that I had. I mean, how you got? How the ladies doing right now? Everybody's okay?
Yes. Could you bring me some refreshments, please, Art? I'm getting parched.
I'm
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
I'll send it right over.
You could have had some glasses of wine, my brother. I'm just saying.
You can have whatever you like. I'll send it right over. Now, we've been hearing a lot of studies and things like that as far as the average Black household having single parents, right? So we're pretty much kind of the poster children of it. Now, that being said, that being the case, what do you think the results? What were the results of that in your, based on your observation or experience or what have you?
Now say that all in one sentence.
What were the results of most of us Gen Xers having single parents? For I want to say for sisters though.
Such an interesting question because I was one of the. I'm fortunate enough to have been raised by my mom and my dad in the same house, and I have noticed the observation that there were a lot of people who didn't know their father, but then I was thinking of the generation whose fathers had outside kids, but they just they raised them together and they didn't talk about the fact that this one don't look like nobody else in the family. We're going to raise him like he's ours. And they just kept the family together, even though they didn't all have the same mother and father. And I guess...
Bye-bye.
Bye. I guess when that stopped...
Peace. Go ahead, sister.
Then you had more of these women having to do it themselves, which I believe would have come from a result. And Miss Shirley...
Uh-oh. Did I freeze?
I think she froze. I don't know. Somebody froze.
Okay. So she froze. Okay, this is the first time ever happened.
Are you froze live?
I don't know. If anybody hear us, put one in the chat. Concrete Rose, can you hear us?
I sure can.
Okay. Check Asada, can you hear us? Going once, going twice, going twice.
I think she was trying to
talk. Yeah, I can hear.
Did you still have her muted?
Okay, she's not even muted.
Can you hear me, Art?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Okay, do you still hear that background noise?
Yeah, I'm still hearing the echo.
Okay, well, I'm going to switch devices then.
So people are pushing one. So we're good on that. Tanjareen, I guess you got to go out and come back in. if you can hear us. Okay, she's coming back. In the meantime, God, she was getting deep. Okay. Concrete Rose.
Yes,
What
sir.
what you got for us? What you got for us?
I'm sorry, but can you repeat the question?
Y'all worse than Obsidian, man.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm multitasking. You know how us women are.
Yeah. Well, you talking about Gen X women, boomer? No, I'm joking. Okay. All right. Um, what were the results of most of us being raised by single? I would say the sisters, though. What were the
um,
results of sisters being raised in a single household?
Yeah, I think that the results are that a lot of them are looking for love in the wrong places. That they're
Oh,
looking for acceptance. That
okay.
that has resulted in a lot of insecurities and a lot of players are or charming men are able to play on that. I think that not having fathers in the household resulted in a lack of boundaries at home. So a lot of young girls have been able to run wild and do what they want because maybe the mom has to work in addition to being the sole parent in the house. So I think that it set the stage for where we are now. With um, the state of Black women and the Black community as a whole. I think that it kind of set the stage for that.
Wow. Okay. Sister Shirley.
Yes, sir.
So what you got for us?
I am one of the blessed ones. My parents were married almost 35 years, 36 years before my father passed. Um, and I never raised my children as a single mom. It's economically wearing on a woman to be single. It's socially wearing, economically meaning that she doesn't have the resources that she would probably have if there was two income household. Socially meaning that she's not able to go out and do the girly thing maybe by herself or just find time for herself. Because I've got a good friend, and she's a mother of two children, and I just for New Year's, I was at a New Year's Eve party and I took pictures and selfies and sent them to her. And then she's with her kids and at home. And then, one of the baby daddy was just visiting. She says, "Look, the struggle is real." I laugh because, and I just think, I laughed. We were laughed together because it was right. It was the struggle is real. Um, Society and I'm going to say politics plays a big part of that. Politics played a part so that when a Black man comes back home, he's not there providing. She has to get on Section 8. Section 8 says you are not allowed to come back in a household that is basically supported by the federal government that gets EB-5 or I'm not EB-5, I'm sorry, any of those fundings that is allotted with WIC or anything. So what is that Black man to do? That Black man's going to eventually move to another woman that can have him in there instead of going back to the woman with the kids. So there was all these underlying devices that from the Great Society and the rulings that came out of Lyndon B. Johnson and politics and how we have became a culture of people dependent upon governmental programs versus each other. So and now we've evolved fast forward to a single woman who has to depend on governmental program systems versus that man and themselves and that older child to step in. And that's a problem. We've got to make some social and personal corrections. And that's where that word, to me, again, submission comes back. We as a culture of people are submitting our time right now as strange Black women and men, one man, to know each other, to speak in the behalf of each other. And that's important. That's important. So it's true. But the fact of the matter is, I believe that government has played a big part of that division in the man and the woman and having her to be this single mom, depending on the government as that husband.
Okay, man, you guys got some great answers here. Sister Asada,
Yes.
we got an echo this time?
It's still echoing.
No, let me test it. Hello, England, 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 England. Okay, all right. All right. So do you remember the question? Were you able to pick up on it?
Yeah, can you ask it again because I had to drop off and
Okay.
come back on.
What were the results of I guess Gen X sisters being raised in a single parent home? based on what you observed and maybe some of your experiences as well.
Yeah, based on what I've observed, it wasn't a good, really wasn't a good turnout because in my experience, having a father in the home is invaluable. So during that time, a lot of my friends came up with single mothers, and it just produces something in a girl that is hard to maneuver in life because I think it creates a certain sense of wanting to look for validation from men because when you're a little girl, your dad calls you pretty, he does certain things for you and with you, and that's your first male connection. So in my opinion, when a young lady doesn't have that, that creates that void, and so they begin to look for it in the men that the guys that go to school with, and just other men when they start dating. And I'm sure you guys have seen the difference between a young lady who's had her father in her life on a regular basis versus one who has not. And it's a start. The difference is just wow.
Okay.
So
Wow. So, oh, you got to break that fight up back there.
that they're playing video games.
Man. So, building on that, we're going to go into the some of the themes and things that we've been hearing, whether it's implied or whether it's been said directly. So there was this whole thing where it's, I don't need a man, you know. Um, that being the case, if you really, heard some of those things, how did that affect Generation X men and women by that theme out there? Did you notice any differences or any kind of how can I say effect from that? Who wants to get
Yeah,
this one first?
Yeah.
I did notice some differences. Oh, were you asking me or were we going back around again? I'm sorry.
I'll just keep it in the order. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, Concrete Rose.
I definitely think that it has had an impact that both sides negatively. I think that young girls don't recognize the value, and I think that men don't feel valued. So that's where we have a lot of the movements, them and the it more and things of that nature exiting the Black community because valued, and I think rightfully so. They haven't been shown that they're cast aside in some makes it feel as though they're tools or for the moment. So sides negatively.
Okay. Sister Tangerine, have you heard the question?
I have not. I've been downloading new software so I could get on my laptop to finish this interview. So my
Did
bad.
Did you need a man to download it?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Okay, that was my little corny Wall Street joke. Okay. Um, so there was this sentiment, whether it's implied or directly said. I guess basically what we're all grown up as Gen Xers, mainly is I don't need a man type thing. Hell, you heard
Hmm.
in certain songs in some respects.
Hmm.
Now, how in your based on your observation and probably some parts of your experience, how did this affect Generation X men and women in your opinion?
I feel like I've answered that question already.
I don't need a man.
No, I mean, we were raised to not need one, but honestly, nothing in nature is independent. Everything needs something. A plant needs water, it needs sunlight. Everything has a system in place that needs a group or a bunch of elements to make it work. So we could say we don't need one all day, but I feel like innately we want a partner anyway, no matter what generation we are, no matter what songs are telling us, or no matter how we were raised. We want to feel loved. Everybody does. And we want to find the balance between submitting and leading and helping and growing and evolving and being equally yoked. So, um, yeah, I don't know that our generation might have kept hearing that, but like I said, all the women on this panel all found somebody at some point.
Okay, you weathered the storm.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, who was it? Shirley. Trying to get the order. Um, Sister Shirley.
Yes, sir.
So based on that theme that was out there for a minute during the time we were growing up, I don't need a man. How did that affect men and women?
Well, it affected our numbers. You got to think about this is a Gloria Stein agenda. Gloria Stein used to work for the CIA, and she's the head of she's noted for being like the creator and mother of the feminist movement, who would love to shift this agenda and say in 2015 that the Black woman created the feminist movement. That's not true. White feminists were growing based on their own merit, but they had to break up the Black family. And so what she did was she filtrated in the community, and she acted as if she was a Black woman. You guys can look all this up online. And it caused a division within the Black community. Black women and men used to work together. But like I said, when they saw that unity with Dr. King's movement and the free men movement and the free people movement, they had to find a way to break those people up. So part of them were putting Planned Parenthood in Black communities so that women won't have babies. We don't need a man. And then we get those men incarcerated. We don't need a man. And then government to pay for us. We don't need a man. And then white women telling us we should be empowered, but then they kept their white man. Again, we don't need a man. Black women need men, and they need strong Black men. But I think there's these subliminal messages that we don't see, or even a message that are very blatant in our face, or situations or circumstances are blatant in our face that don't understand that equates towards a division of a man and a woman not needing a man. That has been a problem in our community. And I think we have to be conscious. We need to wake up, and we need to stay woke.
Okay. Wow. You guys must be running for office. Okay.
I'm reminded of that movie Claudine, when she was on welfare and she had all those kids, but when she got a boyfriend, she needed to hide the fact that she had a boyfriend, and she needed to hide her new toaster and her new TV, because then she wouldn't get the monthly income from the government.
Yep.
And so I think that type of thing made us be like, well, dang, I'm gonna get this regular check if I stay single and take care of these kids on my own and let him go out there and do his thing, as opposed to trying to have a family and us figure it out together. So maybe that had something to do with that era not having a man in the house.
That's correct. You're right.
Keep in mind too,
the government replaced the man.
That's correct. You both correct.
Remember when that lady was going in and checking the house, they had to hide the toaster, they had to hide the TV, they had to hide almost every appliance.
What movie was that one?
Claudine.
With James Earl Jones and Diane Carroll.
Diana Carroll's leading role as it was such a good movie.
Yeah. So, Sister Asada.
Yes, sir.
Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yeah, please.
Usually she does. Meanwhile, she's 12 years old on this avatar. Who is this on this picture, girl? You look adorable. That's me. You look adorable. You look like you've been married 29 years with a mama who was born in the 20s, but go ahead.
She's how to live.
Gray hair. That was about 3 years ago. Look closely. See the gray.
Girl, you look 12. I love it.
Okay. So we're looking at this whole theme about I don't need a man. That was a theme that we're growing up, either was indirectly or directly said. How do you think this affected men and women at that time, or even now?
For sisters mainly, but I think for brothers too, it actually backfired, because a lot of sisters are left raising their children alone, and I'm a firm believer that children do better with two stable parents in the home. I'm helping a sister right now. She's young, got two children, and she's a single mother. But you know, one of the fathers pays child support, a nice amount, and the other one I think he pays about 160 a month.
Mm,
So that's child support. But when you're a parent, there's certain things that you need for support as well. So when you're single, you don't have that. While you're working, you don't have somebody to go get the kids from school or somebody to help you with going back and forth to the grocery store. So, as parents, we need support too. And it's just easier when when both of the parents are available. So in a sense that backfired because our marriage numbers, we're not very high on that. A marriage has, and a lot of people might not agree, but in my opinion, it has lots of benefits. It's easier to amass and pass down generational wealth. And, and that's one thing I've seen in the white community. When they go to college, those young ladies, they go to look for husbands. And we go to college and, we date as many people as we can date. But we come back home, we're not engaged, we're single, not even looking for anybody. But that's how white people keep their wealth going. But we're doing just the opposite, and it's having drastic effects on us.
mm, mm,
Wow.
mm.
See,
Enjoy as opposed to going off to find a husband.
yeah.
Now,
So
is that because I remember discussing that people are getting married later now, and I mean having children later now. And I would say part of that is because they were able to watch how much we complained and struggled the generation before about, oh, these kids this and oh, this money and oh, child support court and baby daddy this and baby mama that. So why would anybody want to rush into that when they've seen this example of how miserable it looks from the outside looking in?
That's a good point, but fertility is it has a limited time span too. So I mean that is it doesn't end it though.
I mean, I'm just guessing because there's so much. Oh, you're gonna lose your whole life. You got to drop out of school. Oh, you got to do this, and it's like, well, dang. Let me not have a child with this person that I'm dating because he's probably not going to be a good dad. He's probably not going to stick around. Let me finish my education and let me make sure my credit score is great. And let me see if I have enough for a down payment house. Like it seems like they've had the example to look at and be like, nah, I don't want to do that in my 20s. Nah.
Yeah. In addition, when that's all, that I remember was one of the negative stereotypes attached to Black women, that all that we're good for is produce baby factories and things
Mm,
of that dispel those rumors. I think are either not procreating young ages and or having lots of abortions.
yeah, which was also part of another agenda.
Right.
We got talk a whole show on that, but yeah,
Indeed.
I agree. I also think the black church plays a part in that too. I
go on.
think the black church was the one saying, "Don't have babies. You should wait till you're married." You try to do all the right things, but everything the sister said earlier was right on point. I mean, it used to me just get my credit score right, let's get my income up. All those things come a play a part. But like the other sister said too, there's that time clock ticking
Yeah,
of how much you can do. But look at Kim Kardashian.
yeah.
She
Technology has
went on
changed the time
tour.
clock. Janet
Right.
Jackson had her baby at what 50? Her second baby at 51, 52.
That's
wow.
crazy for me. That's just too crazy. That's cuckoo cocoa pop.
But
I'm
she did
sorry.
it.
Nothing
Money will
on
have you
that.
having a baby as
Yeah,
a
but
senior citizen.
Yeah.
even if you get the money to do it, let me tell you, I got grown kids. I ain't gonna be 60 years old with a 10-year-old. I ain't gonna be 70 years old with a 20-year-old.
Right.
Mm-mm,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
if you got nannies,
Nope, nope,
and
nope, nope, nope.
chefs.
Because that's just for TV, honey. Behind the stage, they don't want nannies. They want you, mama. I don't want nannies. I want Spanish. I want a black mama. You got a proactive black child that wants to be around their black mother, and then they want to be all in the adult business. You can't hang out with your adult friends. I can't curse you out real good because you got that 10-year-old kid. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
That's
having black
funny.
with some of my friends. I mean,
That's funny.
Yeah. So now we're going into hip hop. Y'all ready for hip hop?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Here we go. If we want to say that hip hop was the greater part of our experience, right? Would you agree with that as Gen Xers?
Yes.
Yes,
Now,
Yes.
yes.
did hip hop contribute to our interest in college? Would you say that?
Not more than television
No,
shows and movies.
TV. I would, yeah, equate it more to
Not
TV.
more than school days and different world and stuff like
Cosby
that.
Show, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Cosby shows. I agree. I agree.
Wow. I was curious because the male panel had a different take. Okay.
What
Um,
songs was talking about going to college?
Yeah, I've never heard
Am I forgetting
college really
something?
Right. Am I
promoted. And
missing something
are
on
we
that
talking
one?
about
I agree
college
with the ladies.
dropout? Kanye West,
hmm.
college dropout?
Oh, that's not Gen Xer, but I mean, as far as that when it came out, but
Or was it the
mainly
90s?
a lot of there were different college referencing, like Run DMC talking about the Hollis Queens, or he talked about he had a degree. You had the whole college culture.
Not from
Where you
real
had
college.
no, I'm just saying that you had a lot of people
Nah,
that
Art. Nah, I
were
don't know what the man was talking about, fam, but that
Yeah,
was not.
please. It's like
That
the
was
no,
not
power.
encouraging us
no,
to go to no
They
no.
wasn't talking about no college.
HBCUs or
Okay,
get no
If it was, it
degree.
was
you asked me
definitely
a question and y'all not
mentioned.
gonna let me answer it,
No, we
sister.
women. We gonna talk over you. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
People watching. Okay. You had a lot of rappers at that time doing a lot of tours in college. They were wearing college T-shirts and all that kind of stuff.
Did you see Tupac
College
wearing a
pictures.
college T-shirt? I'm from LA. Let's
Did,
make it
did
real.
Biggie wear a college T-shirt?
Oh
Did
yeah,
I
but
miss
Biggie
that?
No,
wears
but
a college
Public Enemy
T-shirt. That's
wore it. What's the name? KRS One wore them. The Jungle Brothers
Yeah,
wore
I'm from
those.
the West Coast, bro.
Uh,
I'm from
All
LA.
of
so,
those
so,
references are
so,
way before
so
me.
am I.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called Gen Xer time. Okay,
I don't
so
know none of
you had
those folks.
all
I
those
mean, I didn't
people. Yeah, Tribe Called Quest was wearing college like Spelman. They were wearing Morehouse.
That's East Coast. That's not
Yeah,
West Coast. That's not West Coast.
sweetness. But they do tours everywhere.
Well,
I
to
know.
answer your question, I'll say that thank you for answering my question of how hip hop in the men's mind had something to do with us wanting to go to college. I will say that me seeing somebody wear a t-shirt would not have been enough, but me seeing shows like A Different World or me watching
Yeah,
School Days and seeing them in
Yeah, we
college
needed the
having fun,
context.
yeah,
seeing them take the classes, like try to get
Girl,
the
Prince,
girl step
Prince,
in and
yeah. I
be in
think us
Greek.
are different from the
That's
males.
that's what would be
Prince,
like, oh
girl,
man,
too.
that's
Yeah.
fun. I want
Yeah.
that. A t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a
No.
rapper making up a college. That none of that is
So
was
basically, let me dissect that a little bit. You're saying that if it was to be considered influential, you would actually have them act the part, probably even go to colleges with the microphone and saying, "I got my degree and I'm going to class." I mean, and
Showing
it's supposed to be in the supplement.
the
Is that supposed?
context.
So that's what you're saying. How you would say that rappers or hip hop in general would influence college
I
or
mean,
college
maybe if some of
school?
their music videos, since they started doing these elaborate short film music videos, acting out dramas and having dialogue, if there was some college depicted in that looked fun, maybe that would have been an influence. But from my memory, I don't remember anything in hip hop that was more influential as far as going to college than TV and films. No, I don't remember that.
Interesting. Not even what was it? Fun
Yeah,
House.
Kid and Play. Dead Set Anime said Kid and Play made movies about going to college.
Yeah. So anyhow, I'm just kind of curious. That's good that you guys answer. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to go back to East Coast, West Coast. I think it just depends on where you live. That wasn't a West Coast thing. During that era when you had you had Tupac, you had, I can't think of his name, MC Rapper. No, what's his name?
MC Hammer?
MC Hammer. Hammer wasn't talking about college.
Yeah,
When you
Hammer.
said MC Rapper, I was just trying to
Yeah,
answer.
Hammer used to
Let's see
tour a
what's
lot of
happening.
colleges in the Bay Area. He did a lot of touring in the Bay Area with the college.
No, that's not. Maybe we misunderstood the question because the touring is one thing. What they personified and what they were encouraging was another. I didn't get
But
them.
like I said, I think you guys
Yeah.
see it different than the guys. To be
Yeah, we
honest,
definitely do. We
yeah,
definitely do.
that's a dead horse. On that
And
one.
that's fine.
I
That's why we
agree.
had two panels.
Yeah, I have to accept it. Now, still in hip hop though, you know, would you say that our generation was responsible for the development and the infiltration of hip hop?
In conjunction to what?
Say that one more time.
In conjunction to what? Like you need to be more.
Like for example, you know, the way that hip hop started, it was pretty much, you know, from us, you know, from our upbringings, and later on,
Yeah.
certain elements start coming in to where we weren't used to, but we just let it fly and just went on and just said, okay, well, this guy is doing national, you know, appeal and things like that. I want to find out, did we let that happen, or was it beyond our control?
Somebody else
I
can
don't
go
think it
first.
was beyond our control, to be completely honest. I think that we don't control the media. In addition, I think that you know, there's only so much that we could have done, even if we were to um, form an alliance against, you know, the infiltration of hip hop. So I think that it was beyond our control, in all honesty.
Okay.
I'm going to come in and say it's part of the evolution. I believe things evolve.
Okay.
And so we have always been storytellers all the way back to slavery in our songs. We told stories with our hair to get to the other side, from the north to the south to the north. So when you talk about hip hop, I think about scat with Alice Fitzgerald. And then we get into East Coast rap, which did a lot of hip hop rapping because we needed to talk to each other on the street. Black Panther, West Coast, with Huey and all the stuff going up in Oakland and the Panther Papers. We go back to spoken word. Spoken word is just speed up with music behind it versus the drums. So it's just an evolving mechanism of communication. Now, what has become now is capitalism. Capitalism are talking about a bunch of bullshit in rap music today.
Oh wow.
No depth in this. Everybody's trying to get a check, trying to get the right beat and the right line that has no depth to it. No.
All you need is a good hook, right?
Right.
That's what I'm asking.
So did we permit it?
We permitted all of it. We evolved it into it. It's not like something we denied or wanted. It's just part of the evolution. The bottom line is we need money. And we're going to use whatever skill sets we have to get to that little next level. And the hip hop community is part of that.
Ooh. Go ahead, Tanjareen.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, you know, we have conscious rappers who make songs, don't get as much airplay, don't get the big checks, aren't glorified. And then we have the A&R people who are choosing what they want the world to see. And if you're in that industry and you want to make the money and you want to be seen by the world, you're going to play the game. So I think it's both what we're allowing and also what they're putting in front. I mean, I don't know how many Black-owned record labels there are that have power. Does anybody?
Well, the
today.
ones that do exist, generally there's someone else behind them, or
Concrete. Your camera's on, Concrete.
Oh, okay. The ones that do exist, generally there's a you know, they may be figureheads, or there's a stronger influence behind them too, and or they're willing to do whatever the media, whatever's being driven by the media, because they want the big check.
Right. Somebody put in the comments, Cardi B influence is heard every day in regular women. That's big nefs, which brings up the point of social media giving you a voice, that you don't have to go through the middleman of a record label anymore and get his permission to touch the masses. So things are changing. But as far as from a Generation X point of view, we didn't have that option. So we were looking for a distributor, we were looking for an outlet, and we were looking for who could pay us for our talents.
Okay.
And also, I'm going to go add into what Tanjareen said, cultural appropriation. A lot of these other cultures of people weren't able to do all this surgery and buy all this hair. And, you know, everybody want to be black and get all these injections. Everybody want to be black. So now everybody can be black. Before, black wasn't cool. Like, oh, she got that big ass. She got her nerves. But then she would get all the attention. Now, that same white girl at 2020, she's the first one getting injections. Where if you saw her 20 years ago, she'd been mad because she couldn't have what you had. So instead, she would criticize you. So, and so I say that invertly connected to hip hop. They don't want to hire black women. They just find women that look kind of black or kind of have a Kardashian look, but still give you everything else that black women accentuate. And that's the problem in our culture. We're being filtrated in with another culture of people.
You ain't lied. I will say that I'm starting to see more people of color recently in leading TV and film roles, as opposed to people who were of fair skin with a couple of black features, or no black features, but with a black leading man opposite them. We're finally shifting over to seeing people that look more like us.
Oh, here's a twister.
And I appreciate it.
Here's a twister. A lot of those people ain't American.
That I was about to say, but a lot of them are British, and that's my other issue.
Again, the African American descendant of slaves, the true origin people that we have on this conversation right here. From my understanding, I know what kind of Negro I am. They ain't picking us. We can go down the list of all them people. You go, oh, how you doing today? Oh, wait a minute, what the fuck? Girl, you ain't black. Oh, no, I'm black, girl. You ain't black. You go get back on the what slave slip you came on. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet now.
That you ain't lying, sis. You ain't lying.
And Sister Sada, did you answer? Were you able to answer the question? Or do I have to?
I agree with what Tangerine was touching on. That it's a little bit of both, because I know when and it may have even been before I was growing up, but there was a time in Black culture where if we did certain things and it was frowned upon, we kind of stood together against it. Like we didn't have certain lyrics in our music, and when people started creeping it in there, it was frowned upon. There was a little pushback. Now it's like anything goes. It's like we don't really have a standard for anything. I heard a song a few days ago, and it was so graphic. I mean, it was just, I couldn't imagine where it came from. It was just ridiculous.
Well, even Kanye West, remember he had "You're such a fucking hoe, I love it," and then less than a year later, it's Jesus. Jesus is King. Like what?
Yeah,
what just happened, Kanye?
You want to start a church?
Good old Kanye West.
But I think, and we allow a lot of our appropriation. Like when people infiltrate our music, we hold them up in high esteem. Everybody wants to go buy it. Like this, what's that guy's name? DJ Khaled. Now he's an Arab. He's from over in that area. Now he's coming over here making our music, and we're buying it. We're loving it. I'd like to see one of us make their music and go over there and sell it and see what happens.
And I'd like to know, why is he in the culture of the people and he doesn't contribute? I mean, none of these people. The whole problem I have with entertainers, hip hop, music, athletes, I'm sick of all these Negroes. And I'll tell you why I'm sick of them, because they have a lot of money, and we're dealing with a lot of issues socially, economically, and politically right now, where other cultures of people like the Jews, the Chinese, the Mexicans, the Armenians, they know how to bring their people together. We come together, and the people who have the resources to set a tone or a twist in society today, they don't even contribute. They are their own 1% elitists in today's time, and that sucks.
You made a good
the
point.
The people
about
with the resources.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tangereen. I was just going to say, the people, you made a good point about DJ Khaled, because some of our top rappers right now are not even from the Middle East. Post Malone, Machine Gun Kelly, G-Eazy, Yellow Wolf, Mac Miller, Eminem, they're all white. They sound black, and you think they're black until you catch a video on YouTube. You're like, oh, and they got dreadlocks. I'm so confused.
This is no different than what happened in the 70s when people would hear like Average White, in the 60s, Average White Band, and some other white people that sounded black, and they didn't realize until they actually saw them that they weren't they weren't of our persuasion. Macklemore,
Lil Dicky. It's such a long list of white people who are on the top charts for rap music. So
that's why I was talking about the infiltration. If we had anything to do with that, that's kind of what I guess I should have had more examples.
And well, in that case, I think yes, because we're the ones who big up Eminem and say he's the best rapper alive. Like I hear more of us saying that than anybody, you know.
And it's actually Concrete Rose. Damn it, he's really good at it. Like I can't deny his breath control and his lyrical content. I can't deny
agree
it.
with that, but I agree with that. I think that he does a great job at being a culture vulture. I won't disagree with that. But you will not hear me calling him the best rapper alive, though.
Copy that. Copy that.
Okay, so this is I'm gonna say this in context. Okay, now
Big Neff is in these comments cracking me up. Sorry, y'all. Are y'all reading the comments though?
I'm trying to keep up with it. I'm trying to put highlight people, paint.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let you do the show.
I wish I had like a assistant or something.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So Big Neff said they don't owe us shit for being dumb.
Okay.
I agree with him on that. You know, because that's on us. Because I know I've seen instances where now there's some Asians who have barbershops in Black communities, and there are even some Asian restaurants that are cooking soul food. So that's on us.
They sell
That's
ribs
on us
and
for doing that.
everything.
That is on us for doing that. Yeah, I might as well start going to them and buying Thanksgiving dinner. So
here we go. Language like bitches, hoes, and niggas. How did that find its way in hip hop, and where did it come from?
You know what? That's not
one more thing. Did you accept it or did you reject it?
I say that's not a new phenomenon. Like I've heard people, that goes back to, if you look at like blaxploitation, look Dolomite and Goldie and like those things were in the culture prior to that. Those things preceded hip hop. But personally, I can't say that I rejected it. So I have to say I accepted it along with everybody else.
Wow.
Yeah, me growing up in Inglewood and being raised by all like male cousins and all the little homies in the neighborhood, I absolutely sang all the words right along with everybody else. Didn't see the misogyny in it. Didn't know there's anything wrong with it. But yes, it was happening, like she said, in the films before it was in the music. And I think it stems from when you come from being that oppressed and not having any rights and being told that you're ugly and dirty and you don't have any place here. Sex and being a hoe and these nicknames that we called each other came from from a completely different place. And it was like the women were like, well, look at me. Do you want me? Because if I give you something, I feel loved. And I think it came from a completely different place. But yeah, I accepted it back then because I didn't know any better.
It was considered liberating.
Yes.
Wow.
Black beauty and all that stuff. Yes.
Okay. Sister Shirley?
All right. I concur. I agree with him. I also think the parents and the church allowed a lot of that stuff to happen. There's people that are ahead of us in time frames that didn't speak out and didn't lead. And when you have no leadership and you have, like I said before, this movement of evolution where we just kind of evolve into situations and there's no correction, like Tanjareen said, there's no one saying, hey, it's wrong. And it makes you empowered. Yeah, nigga, call me a bitch. What?
At least you calling me because you didn't. I was invisible before.
Let me go holler at that bitch over there. Damn,
okay. Well, dang, that's wow. I mean, it's good to hear this, so people won't be making things up. We can hear from the actual people. Sister Asada.
I'd have to say something a little different. I never found it acceptable or even liberating, and I just thought I never allowed the people in my house to do it. My sons weren't allowed to call girls bitches, and my daughters were not allowed to. How sometimes girls, they'll call each other bitch. My daughters weren't allowed to do it. I don't know. I came up in a time where if bitch meant one thing back then, it means the same thing right now. So no, I couldn't. I didn't. It wasn't acceptable for me. And even now, I know it's commonplace. It's part of the jargon that a lot of guys are partaking in. So, like in a lot of chat, in a lot of chat rooms, and on a lot of other people's channels, if that's what the environment is, I make sure I'm a little standoffish with that because I don't tell people how to move in their own environments, but since that's not something I like into, I'm a little standoffish in that. But I
Look,
mean,
Mr.
yeah,
Muhammad, we know you better than us, okay? We know this. You already told us.
Let me say this. I
that's not
just
true,
to say,
Tangerine.
This just shows why we need womanhood training in the Black community.
Yes,
yeah,
we
yeah.
need them classes you was talking about. I ain't never got none of them classes, sis. I need those.
I mean,
That's
but
awesome.
even before I took them, I mean, I would, I've never been okay
I
with,
love
calling women, females, bitches.
it. I love
And
it.
also you had to make sure you didn't carry yourself like one too. But no, we're not gonna do that.
And I think,
But
like, on
Yes.
a
I'm trying to
personal
get to what
level,
you're saying, though. There's a different quality of women in this world because there are women in this world who they all call each other's bitches. I agree with you. That was not something that I was raised with.
yeah.
That was
And on
not
a
something I
personal
raised my
level, I
children with.
wouldn't ever allow a man to call me one, even when I
Right,
was a young girl.
right.
But I
Yeah, of
listened to
course
the
not. Of course
music.
not.
Yeah, but I
Right.
listened to and indulged in the music and,
And the music was
sang
on
along to
and
it
equate
too.
to music. Yes.
Because
Yeah.
music is catchy. And even if you try not to like a song, they're going to keep playing it and keep playing it and keep playing it. And
Subliminal.
then all the cool kids are playing the same song over and over again.
Subliminal.
And the subliminal message gets in your head. No, my mama's not talking to me like that. No, my parents don't want to hear me talk like that. But if I'm out with my friends and I heard that song and I'm 14, 15 years old, I'm singing the words.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So now on this note, then, how was a Gen X woman femininity defined between women? How was your femininity defined? Was it clothes? Was it looks? Was it what you do as a career? How you carry? I mean, how was it? I mean, because we want to find out if the different
Uh,
generations take it differently.
I think probably based on your character and your moral foundation is what I would have to say. Not necessarily clothes, or I don't think that femininity has one look per se, but I think that it's more about character. So the way you carry yourself.
Okay. Well, that was a hard question for the rest of the people. Or y'all still thinking?
Well,
Never
yeah.
thought of it, huh?
I think it's a combination of all of those.
Okay.
Mm.
I've always
Okay.
been a girly girl. My mom always dressed beautiful and had jewelry and pearls and makeup. I was a makeup girl, so I started wearing makeup like when I was younger to church, but I never wore it to school. I was bused in the valley, and so the white girls always wore makeup, and I thought, oh my God, once you start wearing it, you can't stop. So that always bothered me. I only wanted to do it on Sunday at churches. So my femininity didn't equate to just only makeup, but I loved being empowered as a person for what God made me. So I never thought of, am I feminine or not feminine enough? I think that's something of today's generation. Women weren't wearing men's clothes when I was younger. That's another thing. You have women who are lesbians and they dress up like a man and it's accepted in society. So it's a clear difference of what they really are evolving to try to be, what they're not. Um, so for me, I don't know. I always loved being a girl. So, and I love beautiful men and beautiful situations. And I love strong women. And that doesn't always equate to beauty. That doesn't always equate to makeup and stuff. The strength of a woman, a voice of a woman, one that can stand her balance and her strength. I had that in a lot of Christian women. I grew up with Crenshaw Christian Center. So I had Bam
Yeah,
Crawford,
Reverend
a
Prince.
minister, and I had my mother, Doretha Webster, and I had some amazing Christian women that were, just examples for me as Black women. So,
That's funny because strong women in today's society, strong women aren't generally looked upon as feminine.
no,
Mm-mm.
Men
absolutely not.
don't tend to tie the two together.
You're right.
Yeah, and when you look at who ran for president as a female, it was all about the pantsuits. You reminding me about how
Polyester.
you reminding me how you dressed growing up reminded me that I actually had a big tomboy phase. Like I said, I was raised around like all male cousins and the guys in the neighborhood, and me going to a private school, St. Bernard's, where we had to wear uniforms. There was there was a phase where I was getting the latest Air Jordans when the guys were, and I would get a Nike t-shirt to go with it. And I was comfortable wearing sweats and boxer shorts. And I had a big tomboy phase. And I think, and this might be a whole nother subject, but I think that if that happened in this generation, all the stuff that I see on TV and in the media would tell me that I'm a lesbian and that I should be gender fluid and that I should, really embrace that tomboy side and start to go into being into women. But I quickly came out of that phase without anybody influencing me and telling me that I was wrong. It was just like, oh, that was fun, to have on the baggy pants and the baggy sweats and all that. And I did play girls basketball for a while. And then I went back to doing what is standard for how women dress. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. And I see in the comments that somebody, Fly Birdie, said, I'm a tomboy turned girly girl, LOL. And I feel like, yeah, I was the same way. But it wasn't anybody in my household telling me that this is how you need to dress to be a woman. My mom was a letter carrier for the post office. So she didn't really get her nails done. She didn't have to worry about her hair always being, super curled and done because she was walking outside in, sleet, rain, and sun to help with the household income. So I was just looking around like, oh, I like how she dresses. Let me get that. Or I like how he dresses. Let me get that. And then I just kind of figured it all out later on my own.
Okay. Sister Asada.
Well, ask the question again for me.
What a Pisces. You're a true
Tangerine was going to get a kick out of that.
Yes, I like messing with you, little 12-year-old over there.
It's true. Well, how does
change they look all the time? Leave that girl alone.
Sounds like my children. I'm like the shortest one. I'm 5'7", but I'm the shortest out of all my children.
Some tall people. They must play basketball. What is how was the Gen X women femininity defined between women? I should have said between men and women, because I'm quite sure a lot of you guys wore certain clothes because you knew somebody was going to see you. Probably, I'm just guessing.
Well, for me, and even other people, in my experience, it was a combination of all that. Because when I was growing up, my grandmother and her sisters, they kept a close watch. If you did something that wasn't girlish, you would get reprimanded for it really quickly. They would say something immediately. We were only allowed to wear certain things. If it was looking too boyish, we couldn't wear that. We all had to learn how to cook. We all had to learn how to clean. It was just a combination of certain things. And I know, and even in being in the nation, there's certain jobs that they suggest you not have, because it takes away from your femininity. Like I've seen female trash collectors, but that would be something that would be frowned upon because it tends to not be looked at as feminine. So it's a combination of all of those things. And when I was growing up, it was just like a strict regiment. Okay, this is what young ladies do. And if you like nice things, you do this and this and this, and it was just a combination of all of that.
Okay.
Good point. EJ in the chat said, what words were used before bitch? Heifer? Jezebel?
Ex-wife? No, I'm joking.
Did you say ex-wife?
Ex-wife? No, I'm joking.
Yeah. I'm looking at a comment from Big Neff. He says women under 40 can't cook. All my daughters are under 40 and they cook just as well as I do. It's all about how you bring them up. It's about their environment. Like where I came from, cooking was an essential thing to being a wife and a mother. So
I agree. I'm under 40 and I can cook.
Amen.
Yeah, my family, that's how everybody was brought up as.
You know what I love when this conversation starts and you see online that all the men are like, women at this age can't cook no more and women at this age can't do that no more. And it's like, well, brother, can you build a house? Can you fix my car? If I need my oil change, can you do it? Or do I still need to go to Jiffy Lube? Or do I still need to hire some people to come over here and be a handyman? So it goes both ways.
Pedicure first. Gotta get his pedicure.
I'm gonna label Tangerine as the combat sister. I gotta put her
Yeah.
on my combat role. Like, bro, let me help you out. Tangerine, get in the ring. Let me ask you something, bro. You want me to cook? You want me to clean your drawers? You want me to iron your shirt? Bro, let me ask you, can you fix a car? That's all I want to know. How can you go down real good? I got other requirements, but can you do it to me? Can you do
I'm
it
just,
to me?
I'm just saying it goes both ways, does it not?
That's
Okay.
why it's important to find you a man who can do all of those things.
Nah. Now, Concrete Rose, I'm gonna start with you, but we want to
Yes.
find out from the women because I guess one of the hot topics for how long? Like maybe a month or so now about the SYSBM. I want to find out from Gen X women. What is it? What does it mean to you? Save yourself, black man. And then what do you think of it?
Oh Lord.
I didn't hear all
What
that,
does
so
it
I'll wait for
mean?
y'all.
Say SYSBM.
Wait, what does it mean to you? And what do you think of it?
So the first thing that comes to mind when you say SYSBM, even though I've gained more understanding about what it is as of late, is abandonment. And I have to be honest about that. However, I am I understand that it's more about men seeking their own happiness. That if men finding women who subscribe to a patriarchal mindset. So from my understanding, and like I said, I've just come into this understanding, that's what it means. But my first introduction to SYSBM was me doing some independent research, and all I saw being promoted was men with women of other races and how much better they are than black women. There was a lot of hashtags on different social media sites of SYSBM, and pictures of black men, and like snarky captions, kind of like, "Hi, brother, you better get on this bandwagon too," and things of that nature. So I was kind of I didn't think of it, I didn't view it in a positive light, but I have talked to some brothers that are SYSBM or that do subscribe to it, and my understanding now is that it is about men seeking their own happiness. And what was the other part of that question?
Yeah, mainly just what did you think of it? After defining it, what was your take on it? But I think you did unless you want to add
Um,
more.
yeah, I guess personally, it's not like I can control what black men do. I don't find it favorable. I wouldn't I would not encourage men to, become SYSBM. I think that we need to work on our issues and resolve them in order for things to get better. I don't think that the answer is leaving the black community. I'm going to stay on for a few minutes because I want to hear what the other ladies have to say.
I'm gonna I'm gonna say that I was not familiar with SYSBM, so I'm learning from you guys from this conversation. So please go ahead.
Okay. Who else wants to take a stab at it?
I will. I really don't have a problem with SYSBM because, me having sons, there's certain things that a man wants to see in a woman, especially if he decides he's going to be with her. If he wants to build his empire with her, it's certain guidelines that he's going to have in place to achieve that. So he has to find a woman who's willing to be on his program. So, and I know in society over here in the West, it's kind of looked down upon for women to follow the lead of men, so to speak. Um, like a lot of people I went to high school with, they consider me to be old fashioned because I've been married. I got married at 19, and me and my husband have 7 children, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to have a lot of children and be married, so that's what we did. And they look at it as being old fashioned and I'm out of the loop. And, they always try to get me to do that. Well, why don't you go clubbing with us? And I'm not into that type of thing. But if what a brother is looking for is not in his immediate surrounding, it's not in his environment, he's going to have to get to a new environment. So I know there's some qualities in the young ladies today that I don't want my sons touching. I know when my oldest son first started getting on Facebook, I think he was 14. he left his computer open on the table. So, I'm going to look at it because I want to make sure everything's kosher. So there was a girl in his DM. She was saying that her mother didn't mind if he spent the night. So I'm
Oh,
like, is this how we raise little girls now? So at that point, I said, you know what? I have to be very careful. So the girls are today, they're bolder than ever. So, I don't, it's certain things I pray to God my son steers clear from. So now I would prefer he stay with the black girl. I don't care what culture she's from as long as she's black. But yeah, certain things I don't want him being bothered with.
wow. People are saying that Tangerine looked mad familiar in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Somebody says I haven't seen Tangerine since the Foxhole days. Yes, I was on Jamie Foxx's Foxhole Radio on Sirius XM for a long time. That's actually how I met Clayton Thomas, who is now my husband, because he was on the show before me. And somebody says, Smooth Vision Media says, Tangerine, you look mad familiar. Do you do comedy sketches? Ever done any with Big Jaw? Absolutely, I have. I do comedy sketches. I'm an actress on a TV show. I'm a stand-up comedian, all that good stuff. If you click on my picture of me in a little orange dress, you can see sketches with me and Big Jaw and sketches with
Yeah.
Clayton Thomas. You're absolutely right. As far as me not knowing, because somebody said, I don't believe that girl doesn't know about the SYS BM thing. I had not heard of it before this interview, and I just looked it up, and I understand that it means men taking back their power. I just don't understand exactly how. What exactly does that look like, them taking back their power? Does it mean them dating all the other races that they're dating? Does it mean having a wife that they submit to? Like, what exactly does it mean? That's why I didn't answer the question, because I didn't want to speak on something that I wasn't well versed on.
And please sub to her channel, you guys. She has her own channel as well. Click
Yes,
on her.
please.
Click on
Join
her.
Team Tangerine, please.
And then Shirley Hussar has her own channel as well. And Concrete Rose has the breakdown of, oh my God, what's the name of it? I hate these long titles. I think it's the breakdown of Black women perspectives.
Did she leave?
Yeah, she had to go somewhere.
Okay. Bye, Shirley.
I'm like Tangerine. It's not something that we, I guess if you're not into people who are, I gotta gravitate towards people who are like myself. So I'm not in that community of a black man that don't care for a black woman. So I have not heard of SYSBM. So I guess me and that Tangerine must not be in the clique, because I hear a lot of what I've heard. But I just looked it up. I want to read something to you. I'm actually gonna let the computer read it. If you guys just give me a minute, I want to hear what you have to say about this. Just listen.
Okay.
London-based writer Babatunde Umana, editor of the website slayingevil.com and author of the self-published book Negro Wars, recently outlined the tenets of SYSBM. SYSBM is not about saving the black community, he claims. As far as we are concerned, the black community is dead and black women were the ones who killed it. Went on to declare that SYSBM rejects feminism, LGBTQ plus people, women of other races who lack class, and non-black women who have black female friends. He also maintains that SYSBM is concerned about the future of children, believing that black women have a deep disdain and hatred for black children and will seek to destroy them through abortion or physical and mental abuse. And while this doctrine purports that not all black women are undesirable, Umana insists that black women who can still be seen as desirable have become an extreme rarity to the point of extinction. This sentiment has become increasingly popular on social media, even amongst those not firmly in the SYSBM movement.
Okay. So what I'm gonna tell the chat is that we're gonna use this to make an official definition of what it is, but we just want to get you guys' take on based on your understanding.
Thank you for that, for sharing that though.
No problem. I want to say this much about it. It's going to mean different things to different people. See how that person attacked it? I thought of it differently, and then when I read this, I go, well, what is it? Is it single men? Is it against LGBT? Is it for LGBT?
Right. What is it?
What is it? It is Negro Wars, because we are warring against each other. I will give that much credit to it. I put the link of where this article is in the chat room. But okay. I'm just saying, if we're going to give energy towards things that is divisive, I don't support that. I'm going to go back to old school submission. we as a culture, people need to submit together because other cultures are pulling us apart. Other genres like the LGBT community, even though it's not a culture, a race culture, based on the melanin of your skin, it's based on the sexual preference that you choose to surround and be partakers of. They are also divisive in our community. They come to our community and they pull our young Black men and young Black women away from us to the point that we're not appropriating. So, I mean, are we going to still be labeled that angry Black woman through the Tyler Perry movement? Or are we going to still be like the Lee Daniels, where we are supporting these young Black gay men to give them more Black jobs? I understand, and I'm not trying to attack the gay community. I'm talking about appropriation of building a culture. If I'm going to come in from a warrior standpoint of building troops and building a nation of people that want to do better, then we have to appropriate. We have to encourage our young women to have children, unlike Planned Parenthood. But when you get these single Black men who say Black women are XYZ, I think these are low self-esteem little Negroes. This Negro, he got some issues. The nigga don't know what he got to do. He don't know how to sling it right. He got problems. Boy, got problems. That's what with this.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, they're hearing.
I'm reading the chats, and somebody's Mr. I don't know if it's Ledger Time Processor says SYSBM is about Black men sovereignty. I asked, but sovereignty how exactly? And the response was essentially it's about escaping a culture perceived as toxic and finding happiness on your own terms. And then he added, this is Ib Moore. These guys also feel like they're social devices like shame and other toxic behaviors that try to lock them into making decisions that isn't in their best interest. It's like saying that you can make your own choice regardless of what the community believes you should do. So I asked, does that mean Black men marrying white women and starting a non-Black family and working for the white man? Like I'm trying to get specifics. I'm trying to learn, but all right. Thanks, Marvin. He's going to listen to the whole thing on replay. Thanks, Marvin.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, every time this is brought up, boy, it's just like poof. There's always something good happening.
You did this on purpose, Art. Meanwhile, Art, what are you drawing over there?
Yeah, that's a question. Art, we love you. Show the artwork. When you show one of us, show your artwork. Who is that? Who is that, Art?
Yeah, who is that?
1, 2, 3, and bam.
That's me?
That's you, girl.
That's hilarious. Okay, let me show you guys the picture that he's copying. It's this. Now show it again.
Wow, that's beautiful.
That's cool. So
yeah, I gotta get my colors. Gotta get my colors together. So I'm like in the cut, just reading questions. But I got a real good one for you guys. I got a real good one.
Beautiful Tanjareen.
Based on oh yeah, she flaunts. We known her. How long is Tanjareen? The 90s?
I have no idea because I'm 28. I don't know what I'm doing on this panel.
My bad. Okay.
Don't know any of that.
My bad. But anyhow, how can I say this?
Face it, Black women don't make good mothers. Bye, Zachary Osborne. Did you not listen to the show? We got a girl in here with 7 kids who's an amazing mother who's considered old-fashioned because she's so good at this mother thing. Goodness.
Ooh-wee, these wars.
I love children. I like other people's children. So.
And I got 3 sons, so there you go.
Now let me ask you guys this, because I want to ask the Boomer sisters as well. Do you think that younger generation women listen to you?
To me, yes. I actually go out and speak to students at different schools around Los Angeles, and I've also gone up further, halfway to Northern Cali to speak. And I always get a great response. I give out my email address. They can contact me if they have more questions. They DM me with things that they're going through. And I think because I'm not related to them, because familiarity breeds disrespect. Because it's somebody that, they may have seen on TV that's come out to speak to them. They do listen to me. Now, I don't know if it would be the same if it was, somebody that was closer to me, but I definitely have gotten a great response from sharing my wisdom and my knowledge and the things that I've made mistakes at that I can share with other people when they do listen.
Okay. Now, before the other one goes on, others go on. Do you see younger generation women listening to your generation?
It depends on how you say listen, because
Take your advice.
if you put it in a book, you got the people who read books and the people who don't read books. If you put it in a movie, you got people who will watch the movie and who don't. If you have it in a women's conference, you got people who will attend the conference and people who won't. So it just depends on how you're giving the message, I think.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. How about Sister Asada?
Well, it kind of depends. I think sisters who are around, and this is my experience, who are maybe around 30, you know, they think I'm old fashioned. But I know I'm in a group where we go to middle schools and high schools and talk to, teenage girls. So when I talk about certain things about, how, I tell them it's okay to have boyfriends, but, a lot of young girls want to have babies and it's not okay to have a baby with every boyfriend you have. Yeah, they listen to me when I say things like that. When I tell them, okay, you can travel instead of having a bunch of kids, they listen to me when I say things like that. But it's the older ones who think I'm kind of old fashioned. I guess because they don't want to, like, I enjoy sitting at home with my children. I'm not a clubber. I teach them how to do certain things, and I don't even have babies anymore, but, I'm in a breastfeeding group helping other mothers who have issues with breastfeeding. So the older women, they kind of shy away, but it's like the younger teenagers, their ear, they have more of an open ear to me.
Hmm.
Excellent.
Sister Shirley. Sister Shirley. She, she probably got Donald Trump on the phone right now.
You need to really stop. I just got the phone with the president telling him, don't worry, you will not be impeached, my brother. Matter of fact, you're going to be reelected for sure.
Okay.
I know that for a fact. Um, oh, gosh. It depends on the subject matter. If you want to talk politics, I come from a logical point of view and I talk about economics. And I say, what does it benefit you to be a member of either party, a Republican or Democrat? I also talk economically when I talk about self-empowerment, owning your own business, LLC, as corporations. Are you learning about that? Have you ever heard of hedge funds? Are you utilizing social media in the right time frame to empower you to the next level? Most of the times when I talk in that manner, they'll say, I've never heard anybody talk to me like that. So I'm not talking about adequacy. I'm not talking about appropriation of how you look. That will come automatic. That'll come automatic because you realize you ain't gonna get no job making 6, 7, 8, 10 figures looking like that. I don't need to tell you to dress the way the job supports you to do. If you want to make that money, you're gonna dress that way. And that doesn't mean being in the entertainment industry. That means being in the issue where you are bringing revenue in a form that every other person is able to do, but at a different level.
Okay, so what it sounds like, you guys haven't really peeped out as far as the gap in generations or any kind of wedge as far as between females.
Probably not for us. You
Okay.
chose some pretty powerful, active women for your panel.
Yeah, I
But
should have went down. Never mind. Go ahead.
but if you had gotten maybe some more deadbeats that don't have anybody looking up to them, then you
I'll
might
let
have
you
gotten a
say
different answer.
it. I ain't gonna say it. I know my students watching.
Yes.
So.
Son of Panther said, "Are any of these women mentoring young women?" Maybe he wasn't. Maybe Son of Panther wasn't listening, but yes, we are. We just said that.
Yeah, I think some people are just listening for certain answers.
Yeah, which is how life is. Everybody listens from their own point of view and their own perspective, and they take the same exact sentence or paragraph and twist it into their experiences in life and get a completely different meaning out of it than the person sitting next to them.
Right. And I think that also equates to the hunger. If you get young girls who are hungering for what energy you're putting out, they'll come to you. And a lot of young girls say, oh, I watch you. I love what you're doing. I have some questions. And so it's not so much me going out to them. They come to me and they're not questioning me because they already want to be something like me or something that they see they want to become. So I respect that.
Oh, okay.
Amen.
Now, I think this should be my last question because I know you guys probably about to fall out and of hunger or something. Actually, it's one and a half. This one here is, we have a lot of these dating apps. You just put a few pictures in, you send messages and locations, all this kind of stuff, and you wind up like dating three people a day or five or 10 or whatever.
Damn.
The way that the way that's been explained to me. How was dating practice for the Gen X sisters back in the time when you were doing the whole young dating phase?
Wasn't no apps. You had to actually get approached. Brother had to actually say something to get your attention. You had to see you in class, see you at the grocery store, at church. There was singles Bible study on Wednesdays, and everybody in there was single, but wasn't nobody hooking up with each other. I don't understand that. But it definitely wasn't no app. So you had to actually get to know the person, hang out with them. Maybe some money was spent ahead of time. So I think the apps make it easier to read all about a person. Because, if you look at an app and see somebody and they can't spell, maybe that person is not for you if you're really good at spelling. Or if they're talking about all the haters in their life that they're trying to avoid, you get to weed some stuff out based on what they present to you, whether it's true or false in the app. Whereas back in the Generation X time, you saw them face to face. You saw how they dressed. You saw how they spent their time, how they spoke to you in person. Completely different. It wasn't no "Good morning, beautiful" text every day that he probably sent to 10 people because there's nothing specific in that text that lets you know he's only talking to you right now. It was different. It was different.
Okay. Sister Shirley. Sister Shirley. Sister Shirley.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I had to get my mute button to work right. Go ahead.
Yeah, how was the dating practices for Gen Xers back then?
I think Tanjareen, she tied it up in a beautiful bow. They didn't have those dating apps. You had to kind of know people. I went to church, so I was one of these church kids. I don't know. It's so different. I married so young, so I think if I married young, I would have done it different. But I met a really amazing person when I was younger. We've evolved differently. We're still good friends. We still get along. But if I were to say, if you're going to go out and date today, I'm going to go back to what we originally said at the beginning of this conversation, which is finding someone of the same kindred spirit, finding someone equally yoked to you. I'm more into discernment of energy now than I was when I was younger. Also, what do you bring to the table and what kind of drive you have? Some people, they have all the package that looks good, smells good, but when you crack it open, it's hollow. And I think that sister needs to be conscious of. There's a lot of hollow brothers out there. And a lot of mama brothers out there, and a lot of brothers who didn't have a black role model. So it goes back into that equally yoke and understanding that person. Today, I don't know. I think we're very surface dwellers when we talk about kinetics, touch, feel, taste, hearing, and sight. We are very visual. We use a lot of sight and visual to expand in our life because we're always on our phone. But your natural kinetics could be reading. It could be intellect. It could be a lot of other things. You're more of a physical person. But we use a lot of visual. So visual is what we always look at first. And sometimes visual is not always the right answer. But though it does help. Trust me, it does help. Brother, you don't look good. You ain't taking no good baths. You gotta keep it moving. That man need to take a bath.
Hygiene is important.
Oh, the hygiene. Say it again.
Hygiene is important, fellas.
Somebody create a rap song. Brother ain't got no hygiene.
Brother ain't got no hygiene. Brother ain't got. Can I just say, Son of a Panther is very upset with us. He says, "LOL, that's the only question you saw." Then he says, "Another panel of unaccountable women. SYSBM." Then he says, "They have addressed none of the problems with modern day women. That's exactly why SYSBM exists." I'm so sorry, Son of a Panther. I'm so sorry. And we're running out of time. But hopefully if you replay all of this, you'll get some of the answers that we gave.
Son of the Panther, you might want to come in earlier so that we can kind of heal and address some of your emotional issues. That's one of the questions that we kind of talked about earlier. Because emotion and actions are two different things. And the women on this panel are excellent. Art did an excellent job bringing these women together. By the way, you guys get the thumbs up. We've got a lot of good people in and out on this channel. Let's get the thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to Art. Share this video on the platform.
Support the channel. He's got a Cash App.
Thank you.
Hi,
And-
Dark Slothius. He says, "Oh shit, it's Clayton Thomas's wife, Tanjareen. I'm a 5150 fan from 2011. I don't forget. LOL. Thank you. Appreciate that."
Yeah, we have. I'm gonna try to get Zoe up here again too. I'm gonna try. It's hard to get this dude, man.
He's got his own show.
He answers his phone. That's good enough, but he doesn't come on the panels.
You know, Son of the Panther, if you've been here all the whole time, now you're gonna hop in on the end and start beating us up because the show's getting ready to be on. Come on, brother, accountable. Be more accountable and come in and we can answer your question in a more civil manner. You coming at the end of the game and then you're gonna talk about, you know, putting a sister down. You're the kind of brother that we don't like. We don't like black men that can't work with a black sister. And then we have to suppress ourselves so that you can become empowered. See, this is what I'm talking about. If you're an alpha black woman and you speak your mind and you strong, you got these little beta boys that come on time. Well, you know, I can't deal with the beta brothers. And you may not be beta. I don't know. I don't know you from Adam, but I ain't with the beta black brothers. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
actually, I wanted to answer two of Son of Panther's questions. I was just waiting. Can I answer them real quick?
Yes, he would love that.
I think the first one I saw was, have any of the ladies on the panel been financially supported by a man? Yes. When I first got married, I worked, but you know, and having 7 children for about 10 years, I was solely dependent on my husband. He supported everything that I needed to do. Every piece of clothing, every piece of food, every car repair. I was dependent upon him for that. So yeah, I'm sure the other sisters probably have too. And let me see, his other one was, do you know of any sisters abusing their privileges? And I don't know if he's talking about sisters in mainstream media or any that, you know, we know on a personal level. Yeah, I know lots of sisters on a personal level that are abusing certain privileges. You know, to me, having a child is a privilege. So I feel like a lot of sisters are having children with brothers and they don't want to allow the brothers to see the children because they can't get the amount of money they want.
Yeah,
now,
we all
child
know
support
somebody like that.
it's important. It's important to take care of your child. You know, finances are necessary. But if you got with a brother and his finances are not in order and you have a baby, you know, a father is just as important as a mother. A father has just as much authority. They should still allow the brother to see his child. To me, I think that's horrendous. I think they should be taken to court. You know, the same stipulations they put on men. If men can go to jail for that, I think women should be able to go to jail for it too. And not because I have a thing against women, but I've seen the way my children adore their father. I can't imagine stopping them from having a relationship with their father. I can't imagine doing that. It would hurt them emotionally. So I think women who do that, you're not thinking of your child, you're thinking of yourself. You're thinking of your own personal pain and not the emotions of your child.
Yes.
So those are two of his questions.
Good. He also asked, thank you for answering him. When somebody says, y'all do know Tanjareen's supportive wife to her husband, right? He says, that's great. Does she have homegirls who are ratchet, though? Does she call them out or not? Which is such an interesting response to that. I think if I think really hard, I can probably think of some people I know who are ratchet, but they're not in my inner circle. I don't have anything against them, but you know, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Is their incomes, their intellect, their dialogue. You know, those 5 people make up your income, your conversation, your dialect. So I don't really have a lot of close friends who are ratchet, but being from Inglewood, I'm sure I know some ratchet girls. I'm sure I do. And I'm sure if I wanted to go have a good time dancing at a party and turning up, I would probably find their numbers and go somewhere and hang out with them. But yeah, I'm not sure what that question was for. But yeah, I hope we answered enough of your questions so that you could feel loved and included, son of a panther.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of attention there.
He is. That's what, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
There you go. And that's why we have this amazing panel with empowering women. I agree 100. I concur with all the ladies. I need to say nothing. They've said it all.
So we're gonna end with this last question. It's probably been beaten down. Actually, it's been people still talking about it. But this whole Lonnie Love controversy. Now, what's your guys' take on it? Because you already know.
Well, can you brief us first, host? Because all I know is that she was fired from the real and Amanda Seals replaced her, but
Yeah,
I don't know what they're saying is the reason.
yeah. Her whole thing was she had to really make it point to say that all black men cheat.
Is that
And
why she got fired?
I'm not sure about the firing part, but I
Oh,
believe a lot of people were speaking on her statement and how she doubled down on it.
that all black men cheat.
So is Lonnie Love fired or not? She's fired now?
I'm not sure if
Yeah, I
anybody has
mean,
said it.
Amanda's been already on the show.
Right, but my understanding is she's still going to stay and Amanda's on the show. You know,
Oh,
this is what my understanding of California and black men in California. There's not that many. We're down to 6% blacks in California.
that's
So
crazy.
you get into Hollywood, it's like a recycling machine. There's only so many brothers that sisters want to circulate with. And we ain't never seen Lonnie Love with no other brother than the man she's with now. It's a white guy.
Hmm.
And so she's been feeling empowered and feeling herself since she's starting to get some.
Hmm.
We see a different Lonnie Love than we saw maybe 5 or 10 years ago. So I don't know what the answer is. To each their own.
But basically, she doesn't date brothers anyway. So it would
Right.
make sense for her to have that feeling. And like we talked about earlier, everybody has their own perception of life and their own perspective based on their experiences. So based on her experience, she feels all black men cheat, and she is not in a relationship with them.
I just remember one of the Latina ladies on there was trying to say, she's trying to make it sound like it was across the board, and Lonnie brought it right back to black men, like, no, black men, like that. And I was like, wow. But
Well,
that's what a lot of people are really commenting on, is like she really had to make a point on that platform, where a lot of
to
people,
put our brothers down.
right, when
Mm.
that other lady gave her an out.
Well, let me ask you this question. Are any of the women on the real panel a Sojourner Truth? None of those women were. I mean, once you got rid of Tamar, that was kind of it, right? You can't. They prefer to cast, and Tanjareen mentioned this earlier. It's a safe ground casting. You're going to cast people that are safe grounded, and Lonnie wasn't safe ground because she was a dark, big black woman. But now she feels empowered. She's been on the show. She got a man. She's anti-black man, obviously, because she said what she said, and the black community is appalled about it. But she might needed to say that to keep her job. Throw some people on the bus. Throw some black men on the bus. Show us that you want us to keep your
that
position.
you're one of us.
Right. Think about it. Strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something. There's something to really think about, where it just gets down to this, to where that seemed like that's your standard for a promotion, to do something to some people in your community, and all of a sudden you're famous, or you got some kind of you know accolades, or even get an Academy Award or something. Who knows?
I don't know. The women of the real for me have no depth. They're not like, I'm not going to get some intellectual reason, a point of logic from them. Every time I watch them, I scratch my head. And, everybody wants to be black. The little Mexican girl, allegedly Mexican girl, when they did the DNA, she said, I got 1% black. I told you I'm black. I'm black. Everybody wants to be black, like the little white girl on YouTube. I'm black. Whatever that girl's name is.
And then the Asian one is in a relationship with that black celebrity. Yeah.
Right. Everybody wants to keep the Negro in them or of them. So there you go.
But maybe that's part of the SYSBM, them getting away from us.
So do you think
getting to them?
So do you think that that's one of the other reasons why people feel the way they feel about sisters, because of the things that are constantly being shown on television or in social media, like Lizzie and all these other things?
Yeah, media controls the minds of the masses. Everybody knows that for sure. So the more that you show the angry black female, or the sassy, heavy sister talking mess, or putting down her race, and the more that's glorified, or a leading role in a movie, that's what everybody's going to think is the norm for sure.
Right, but then the reality kicks in when Beyonce comes out with that line Ivy Park, and they don't go past LX. And so now the X14s and X4 and what was the X? Let me get this straight. The sisters who were 4X and 5X were upset with Beyonce for not having 4X and 5X.
I didn't know that.
Right? Yeah, that's what's in right now. They all mad because Beyonce's line doesn't go past XL. Well, keep in mind, if you're a 4X, 5X, you ain't trying to work out. You just trying to look like you trying to be Beyonce. But the reality is you're fat. You're fat. I mean, I don't. This is illusion. We're not speaking truth.
And that's why Lizzo, is having a great success right now, because she's supportive of that. The type of woman who doesn't want to work out.
But you got a contradiction going on, because you have Beyonce who's promoting an athletic wear line that's saying, we don't go to XL. What does that say? You need to get down to our level. Okay. That's why we don't go up to XL. But then you've got Rihanna, who's got Fenty's cashmere line, a lingerie line that goes way up.
Okay.
So, I mean.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up because people have to go. And I appreciate the sisters coming through and really showing your perspective about and really making it known about Gen X women and how they think. Gen X sisters, I would say, because I want to break down the difference between the white Gen X women and the black ones, but that's probably another time. I'm going to do another panel finishing this painting here, so I could.
So I don't get my painting today.
I can, but my son got it.
I'm messing with you. Do it whenever you want.
No, we're gonna take care of it because you didn't have to do this. I appreciate you coming here, sister, and be putting this because it's my project. I'm trying to hit up all the generations, and then hopefully probably have a mixture of them and have a discussion about whatever questions I can come up with.
Art, can I give you some ideas? You always ask people to come on and you paint them. I would keep all these photos and then do an art exhibit.
Well, doesn't he send them to the people?
I'm too busy sending them.
I know, but
you got to take a picture of them or something, bro.
Right. You should take a nice photo, go to have them copied and say, I gave the original to the person, but this is a copy, and then do an art exhibit. I think that would be really great. And you can say, oh, when did you do this? Oh, this tied to this show and this on that show. And then you kill two birds with one stone. You might, do some limited editions, create some remnants. I mean, make your money, bro.
Well, I appreciate it.
Good idea.
I'll definitely do it. I'll definitely look into it for sure. But for everybody that's out there, please, support Sister Tanjarene's everything that she does. She doesn't it's not just a YouTube channel. She's on the road. She has shows. She has projects. This is her job. Is what she does.
I have a TV show called Family Time. It's on the Bounce Network. It is the first ever multi-platform African-American network. So you can watch it if you have cable. You can watch it if you have a digital antenna. You can watch it on the website. You can stream it on the Brown Sugar app. You can watch it if you can find it on YouTube. So there's no way to say you don't know how to watch Family Time on the Bounce channel, starring Omar Gooding, Angel Conwell, Clayton Thomas, and Tanjareen. And then, of course, my videos, my sketches are here on YouTube. They're also on Facebook. I post in my stories very often on Instagram. And somebody in the chat asked me to sing my name the way I did on Foxhole Radio. So I will let you know the correct pronunciation of my name is Tanjareen. And you see how to spell it. So don't go looking for me and spelling it like a fruit and saying you couldn't find me. It's Tanjareen right there. Bam.
See that, y'all? See that? So I know how to pick them. No pun intended on the tangerines. Pick them, get it.
That's cute.
Another Wall Street joke. Oh yeah. Before you leave too, Sister Tanjareen, I saw one of your skits, or not? Yeah, one of your stand-ups when you were talking about how Black women are selected in Hollywood as far as parts and things like that. Different things like the prostitute, the slave, stuff like that. So that's really still going on today?
Oh, it was something I said on stand-up, in my stand-up comedy. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not as bad as it was when I first started acting, but for sure, when the average person writes a script, back then, most the writers were not of color. So they pictured all the roles in colors that look like them. And then when they needed a hooker or, a robber, a bank robber or something, they'd be like, oh, can we see the African Americans for this one? Can I have a Latina for hooker number 3? That's just how their mind is. But thankfully now we have more people of color in the writers' rooms, and so we're getting to diversify and we're getting to play more lead roles.
Well, hopefully we can bring you back so you can talk about that, so people that are interested in getting into the entertainment business be able to know what to expect and what they need to do. You know,
Okay.
and then maybe if you do consulting with that kind of stuff too, I'm quite sure some people will be willing to,
I
give
answer questions
what
from
you need.
time to time. Yes, I answer questions from time to time. This business is not for the meek. It is not for the, oh, that looks fun, I want to try it. You have to really have it in your spirit. You have to have thick skin, and you have to be in it for the long haul, because it's not going to be a success overnight. And you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna try for a couple months and get famous. So if you're really serious about it, I answer questions. People can hit me up.
Okay. Well, thank you, my sister. We got Sister Shirley Hussar.
Yes, my brother.
Break it down. What do you want us to know before we leave so we can support you?
Knowledge is power. I think that if you agree or disagree with the women on this panel, it's irrelevant. I think it's the fact that you're open and that you come consistently to our show and to Tangereen's show and to my show and all the other sisters that were on here. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I will be talking more politics on my side of the pendulum. So if you want to know about what's going on in the Black community and how to empower ourselves economically and socially, please come over to our platform. The last one we talked about is how they're changing Civil Rights Day to replace MLK Day. That was our last show we did. And a lot of people were shocked by the information that's out there. This is a verge of erasing the culture of people. And I don't want to see that happen with especially my culture and what's happening in America. But you can find me, Shirley, Hussar, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also follow me on YouTube where I do my channel. And I've been on Fox News, CNN, and I'm out. So if you Google my name, you'll see I was the delegate for Donald Trump. If you're a Trump supporter, if you're not, well, can't help that, but I am.
I respect that, sis. It's hard to say that as a Black woman. I respect that people have a right to choose who they want to choose.
That's correct. And I was the person chosen to be the delegate for Donald Trump for the state of California. I represented the entire state. I met Black, white, Asian, and whatever else you are in 2016 when nobody else was out there saying that they were going to support this man into office. The economy is doing great. Capitalism is doing great. Take advantage of that. Don't focus on all the other bullshit that's out there. Make things happen for you. Don't get caught up in the hoopla of it all. I want him to be reelected. I want the economy to continue to grow. I want Black communities to go back to having their own economic empowerment. So if you're interested in those conversations, please come to my channel. Please come join. Come meet some of my people. Again, your synergy and your energy, what you put out is what you put in. And those are the people that you draw towards you. And I love Black men. I love my sisters. And thank you for having me on here, Art.
Well, thank you for coming through several times. I appreciate you, Shirley.
Lots of love, my sister.
We got
West Coast Deltas right here. Ooh. West Coast Deltas. Ooh. Thanks for having me on, Art.
Thank you for coming through. We got Sister Asada, take us home. So we're going
Queen.
That's a superwoman, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Give us a super blessings here.
Yeah. I just like to say I support Black relationships, Black community. So be the best you can be. If your brothers want to divest and go somewhere else, that's their right to do that. But for everybody who's going to, just focus on the Black community, do what y'all can to uplift your children because, those are the ones who we pass the mantle to. So
amen,
that's
amen.
it.
And on the behalf of Concrete Rose, support her channel. It's called The Breakdown of Sister Perspectives, or Black Woman Perspective, I believe. So yeah, that's with Sister George, known as Danielle. Thank everybody for coming through out there in the chat. Thank you for your support. We're going to try to do more things like this. If you like it, please comment. If you need, let us know what you're thinking. Don't just attack my guest. You can attack me too. But we got the real deal up in here. We got Tanjareen. We got you still the same person. Good Lord. We got just Shirley Hussar and Sister Asada. And we're going to do another live on this probably tomorrow to finish the painting along with King Wage as well. So thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate it. And show it up, show it.
Oh, this is for sale on Tanjareen.com in my store, along with other merch. Darth Slothius said, Deltas beat a bitch ass, then bricks in set. Oh my goodness, Darth. These comments are killing me. I gotta go.
Good Lord, man. Now we probably Boule and Illuminati too, huh? We one of them people. Okay, whatever. Right? Okay. You guys take care. And God bless. Thank you. And peace.
Thanks, Art. It was a great discussion.